I was standing outside room 1036 of the Ritz-Carlton in just off the Boston Common, equipped with a room service cart with a light meal for two on it, and my trainer, Steve Posner. I was training for a week to become a room service waiter at the Ritz for the purposes of a Harvard Business Review article I was writing, and was trying to learn how the Ritz achieves what might be called extreme customer service on the part of its employees. I raised my hand to the door, going over the script in my head, pretty frightened as it turned out, knocked on the door and said, "Good evening, in-room dining." I walked in with my cart, pushing rather than pulling it, so it kind of jiggled and tinkled and almost tipped over as I went into the room, and asked the woman in the room if I could open the bottle of water for her and help her in any way set up her meal. Then she said, "Well, that'd be fine if you'd like to." And then basically I stood there, hands behind my back, kind of slack-jawed, and desperately trying to remember what I was supposed to do next. And suddenly I remembered, aha, explain to them what they're receiving tonight. So I lifted off the warming tray and said, "You have a cheeseburger medium rare and a salad and a beer and water." And then I stood there again. Meanwhile, my trainer, having basically given up on my ever opening the bottle of water, went over and did just that and tried to smooth things over for me as we left the room. As we headed down in the elevator, he said, "We've got a little more training to take care of." Well, this was my first kind of my maiden voyage as a room service waiter at the Ritz. But the purpose of my going through the training and the process was really to try to find out what makes that hotel chain so successful in providing service to its customers. They have a lot of rules. They have a very extensive training program, which they offer actually to other companies trying to offer top-notch customer service. But my strongest takeaway from the week I spent learning to be a room service waiter was that empathy may be the most important aspect of providing extreme customer service. The problem with my trip, my first trip into that room, was I was thinking all about myself and not about my customer, my guest in that hotel. And the challenge over the course of my week was to get outside my own head and to get inside the heads of the people I was serving. There was one instance where my trainer, Steve, did a wonderful thing. We were taking some champagne and pastries up to a room of a newlywed couple who would be arriving in a couple hours. He not only was very careful in putting the rose petals around the champagne glasses, crossing them, crossing the spoons. There was a lot of care given, but he was also at that very moment thinking about his own grandparents' wedding. And he told me as we were doing this, he said, on my grandparents' 75th anniversary, they showed pictures of their wedding. And while the pictures were old and kind of funny and from long ago, it meant something to them. And I want this experience to be meaningful to these people as well. Empathy, getting inside the heads of the people you're trying to serve, was my strongest lesson I had from that experience as a room service waiter.